welcome to episode 170 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Sunday afternoon evening. Myself, Drew Skyberg here, bringing you the news in the Wisconsin sports world at Brewers. Unfortunate outing there with Tariq Skubal facing him. Brewers seem to face the top rotations. Not a great week for Brewers baseball, but coming home should be fine. We're fine. The NL Central in general has struggled this past week, except the Reds winning seven in a row has kind of thrown things off a little bit. But Brewers are still smooth sailing ahead, six games or so ahead there of in first place. So that's what we're looking at. I'm going to go through some announcements here today. We usually do the Immaculate Grid. I did it this morning. There was a Brewer thing on it. I had the likes of Logan Schaefer on it. I had, for Brewers who played center field, one game. And then a Brewers 30 home run hitter. I went with Domingo Santana, who got it in 2017. I'm not sure what he finished with. I just remembered he had it, and I was like, he's a good bet. I could have put Travis Shaw. I think Santana was probably one of the lowest guys I could go with. So he was at 0.3%. Happy with how it went in that grid. So I have a little different game here. We played a little bit in Journey to a Million, which you might be like a football show, which will be probably live again Wednesday this week. Looking at that, we're going to be talking about more extension stuff. Hopefully that Jordan Love extension will be done by a recording. We're talking about this Wednesday. I actually think it could be done this week. That's my prediction here. I think we'll get it. It's going to come out soon. I just have a good feeling about it. Anyways, at Drew Sports Crew for all your sports-related content, whether it's drafts, power rankings, schedule previews, and so on for Wisconsin sports or your popular sports here. Go check it out. Drew Sports Crew, at Drew Sports Crew, wherever you're looking. Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, the drill. So that's the announcement side, what we got today. Probably going to be on the shorter side again, just with how the nature of, we got to wait till finals ends, and then we're going to get basketball news. But from here on out, it's for a little bit. It's going to be interesting. So we're going to play something called the Immaculate Draft. I'm going to be bringing you. It's some baseball themed. Maybe we've gotten Brewers on here actually before, so we'll see what we got here. So basically, what you do is, okay, which former player is the? I don't actually know. It was in the news, and I don't know. I don't know this one. Former player is the co-owner of the Belmont Stakes winning horse. Which one owns horses? I don't know. I'll put Tommy Pham. Brewer legend. He's not a former player, but I don't know who it is. It is Jason Worth. I think I knew that. And as I should have gotten that one. That just shows how out of touch I was with some of the news. This one. This sounds like John Heyman. Was this Heyman or was it Bob Nightingale? So it's which MLB reporter falsely claimed that Ohtani's en route to Toronto. So Heyman messed up the Aaron Judge news. He said Aaron Judge was a Giant. Ken Rosenthal doesn't make those kinds of mistakes. Joel Sherman. I don't think it was Heyman. Was it Nightingale? Or was it Morosi? I think it was Morosi. It was. Yeah. Okay, I got that one right. Nice. Changed my mind there. Center field. Besides the Dodgers, who was the last team to win the NL West in back-to-back years? Okay. The Rockies or Braves are on this list. I'm thinking the old divisions in the 90s or in the 80s, even when it was the AL West, AL East, NL West. There's no Central Division. They could be a secret in here. Diamondbacks historically haven't won the division. The Giants, we know the Giants did that every other year thing. And that every other year thing scares me because I don't think they won the division. Padres, mid-2000s, they had some good, early 2000s. It might be the Rockies or Braves. It might be the Braves. It was the Padres. I fell for the bait. Probably a bad idea. Oh, look, Niger Morgan, Brewer legend. It was the Padres. So maybe it was the Padres there early 2000s. Okay. 3 first overall draft picks since 2012. I think it's the Pirates right from the get-go. Yeah, it's the Pirates. All right. It's either the Pirates or the Orioles. 3 first overall draft picks since 2012. It's the Astros. Yikes. I'm kind of not doing so hot. Which player was not a first overall draft pick? Cole was, Swanson was, Mauer was, Correa was, Bryant. Okay, boom. That was easy. Johnny Damon. Here you go. Welcome to the team. Chris Sale was traded. That was for Vaughn Grissom. Chris Sale was traded to the Braves for that player. That's an easy one. Vaughn Grisham. Oh, wow. 95 overall Vlad. Look at that. All right. Oh, this was an easy one. The Aaron Judge, where he misspelled Aaron Judge's name, appears to headed to the Giants. That was John Heyman. Legend. Willie McCovey. What a team so far. Wow. All right. Who was the first pitcher to reach 10 wins this season? Oh, who was it? First player this season to get 10 wins. I actually don't know. Was it Scuba probably just got his 10th win today. Who is it? Jared Koenig leads the Brewers with 6 wins. That's our stat we were talking today. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna say Wheeler, and the Brewers just faced Wheeler, so it's probably not him. It was Ranger Suarez. I was like, it's a Philly. Was in the back of my head because with all the wins they have. Okay, let's name this player. This player was with the Mets for 2016 to 2022. Now with the Padres, or was with the Padres last season, and then went from Padres to Royals. So the Royals made a bunch of moves. I know who it is. This pitcher has been pitching actually really well. This is Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo, welcome. You are on here. Seth Lugo. A lot of people got that. Nice. Okay, this is a pretty good team. 5 out of, was it 10? 3, 6, 9. Oh, 9. My bad. There's no pitcher. There used to be a pitcher spot on these. That's why I thought it was going to be 10. But here we go. 9. I got a 5 out of 9. Solid. I think these are fun games. Fun little trivia there. They have something new every day. I don't know if there's like an archive one on these, as there is in the Immaculate Grid, but there's a little game, a little baseball warm up here. Thank you for participating. Hope you enjoy those. All right, let's move here to some of our baseball talk here on the show now. Actual Brewers talk. The Brewers have dropped 0.1% in their postseason odds, now to 99.8%. Per Baseball Reference, a 15.9% chance to win the World Series. You like to hear that number. We do have a shocking development as Bryce Turang now leads the Milwaukee Brewers in Baseball Reference WAR. He leads them actually pretty substantially, 2.9 to 2.9 now, passing William Contreras. Contreras got a well-deserved off day here that ends the Adames Contreras streak of 2 guys starting together for the most consecutive games was at like 64. That ends. Contreras looked near the end of that streak to be playing hurt to an extent, I would say. He needs the time off. His average, what was it up to, like 350? It's down to 309 now. His OPS is only a 51. He's still one of the best, if not the best, hitting catchers in all of baseball. But he looks like he had the wrist thing we talked about last week. Looks like he's still dealing with something with that. Not too sure what's going on, but Turang stepped up. Turang had a big week too. He only has 3 home runs this year, but he's up to 21 walks to 37 strikeouts. He's got 23 steals, like those kinds of numbers. He's been phenomenal, right? And he leads the team in WAR, helps with his defense as well, as does with Joey Ortiz, who we talked about the exit velo numbers actually not that crazy for him, but the discipline. This is one of the most disciplined hitters in all of baseball. He's up to 25 walks to 28 strikeouts. That's been huge for the Brewers, a team that historically strikes out a lot. As Adames already has 64 strikeouts compared to Ortiz's 28. That's crazy. But the rookies are the guys who cut down the strikeouts, which is crazy to think about. It's Bryce Turang and Ortiz who have really been the patient, disciplined hitters who have not struck out as much than those guys. Same with Rhys Hoskins, who's more of a veteran there, but that's been something. And having him back has been huge this week. Of course, we know the return to Philly on Monday, hits that home run. He might be the first, right? Standing ovations all 3 nights. Jared and I talked about this on Wednesday with Journey to Million. You usually don't see that kind of reaction, even in a football setting, even for a game, sure you get some ovation to an extent, but it was crazy what we saw out in Philly for Reese Hoskins. That was some real love, and that was cool to see. Um, so that was kind of what I looked at there. Brian Hudson, we talked about his little mess up against the Cubs there last week. Hung in there this week, pretty good outings. Able to navigate and get out of problems. Blake Perkins is your cover man of the episode. He's been phenomenal this year. We talked about the defense has been where he really stands out, and rightfully so. Right, he's one of the best defensively. But I want to pull up some like WAR stuff. Like looking at WAR. So Fangraphs WAR really is a fan of Blake Perkins, and rightfully so. Right, we see the defense. And we see how he kind of performs there. I'm trying to pull that up right now and looking at like overall how it's been so far. But again, Blake Perkins has just been here. I got the WAR leaderboards. Blake Perkins has been one of the best outfielders actually in all of baseball, which is quite remarkable if you to think about. Going down the list with Perkins, it's crazy. That's where there's a possibility he's gonna get some. He could be an all-star. That's the rumor, right? People have talked about, he could be an all-star. I find that's something that might be a stretch, unfortunately, just with like, we see as Brewer fans, we see the impact he has. But I don't think I don't think he has that kind of hype around his name. I think Bryce Terang has gotten to that level now where we're seeing this hype. But I don't think Perkins is there yet. Defensively, right? Some WAR basically for fans, for example, I can't get the number specific, but he's top 5 for outfielders in the National League. So that would, based off that, he's an all-star, right? And the pace he's on is an all-star level pace for WAR for Fangraphs WAR. But Baseball Reference, he's at 1.5. Look, solid season. Probably he's now, in my opinion, he's more of an all-star and like ultimate backup. Like let's say 3 or 4 guys choose to not compete, so on, can't make the game. In the outfield, he could be a reserve, last-minute add-on per the commissioner. You know how they do it. My guess, actually, I want to talk about the Brewers, who they're going to have all-stars. My prediction right away is 4. I know people are going to be like, Drew, there's probably 5 or 6 guys who there should be. I agree. But it's going to be probably 4. It's going to be Brian Hudson. Right, he's the first that comes to mind. Bryce Terang, William Contreras, and Christian Yelich. Those 4 are my guesses. You might be like, where's Joey Ortiz? Joey Ortiz should be on. I think he will be a last add-on. He should be a reserve, though, based on the season he's had. He has an 865 OPS. OPS plus of 144. Third base is kind of tight spot, though, is the thing. In the National League. It should be fine. Like he should get on at the end. But that was kind of my concern, was looking at how the National League is set up with that. But he should be number 5. So it should be 5 all-stars. And people are saying Blake Perkins will make that 6. I don't know about that. I hope so. Adames probably gets left off. Probably, I would say snubbed, considering he leads. What does he lead in RBIs for all shortstops in Major League Baseball? Is right there with Bobby Witt. So those are like the guys who I'm looking at. Like, probably gets snubbed. It's those 2, but for sure 4. This team will have for sure 4 all-stars. No matter how they play really for the next month, they're going to probably have 4 all-stars. Hudson's the one that's tough. Obviously, he's he's an all-star lock right now, but obviously if he has some flare-ups, he could be the guy who maybe gets left off just because of how perfect you have to be as a middle reliever setup guy to make the all-star team. You're not that closer who gets that counting stat save. That's kind of what we're looking at. Obviously McGill is very, very worthy as well, but he doesn't have that name with him too. His ERA is at a 2.12 ERA. In terms of saves, Brewers have gone with different guys. He's at 9 saves, which probably won't get you it. If he goes on a little save run here, maybe. But McGill's been phenomenal. How about Jared Koenig? 6 wins leads the team. He's the new vulture, right? We remember Brent Suter would get all the wins, the vulture. But listen, Koenig's got a 1.84 ERA. Koenig may be a vulture, but he's a well-deserved vulture, right? I say vulture because that's what they called Suter, because he would steal all the wins. He was the Raptor, for those who remember how that went. kudos to a couple guys this week. Aaron Ashby, right, had a great outing Wednesday against the Phillies. Kind of in a spot start kind of gig. He honed back on the velocity, kind of mile or two less, more sitting around 95, not 97. We found that to be pretty effective in his outing against the Phillies, a team that mashes left-handed pitching as well. Ended up being pretty cool to see from Ashby. A lot of swings and misses. The control got to him there at the end, but he's a different pitcher from what we saw in that early season loss against Cincinnati. That was really nice to see. Otherwise, I talked about Enoli Paredes. This was a guy who I talked about a month ago. I said, remember this guy's name? He still has not given up a run in the 7 games he's pitched. 8 2/3 of scoreless ball for Paredes. He has been phenomenal so far, and he's going to keep it up. He's going to be an important part of that bullpen. Next up news, Jacob Junis he was put on the 60-day IL early this season. He's nearing a return. We're going to have Junis back here soon. He's got one more outing of rehab, it seems, and he'll be up hopefully next week for a start. Tuesday is still in question, but the rumor is Carlos Rodriguez, one of the Brewers' top pitching prospects, will be making his major league debut Tuesday against the Blue Jays. So that'll be nice to see, nice to have potentially here as we get in mid-June where you're going to want more guys available. Tobias Myers with an absolute stellar outing. That was the best outing of his career. 8 innings of scoreless ball Friday. I bring him up as he's going to have a start this week. Hopefully we'll see how he rebounds, or not rebounds, but really an encore performance now. What are we going to get? As he was missing barrels. That was the theme on Friday. Myers just moving and navigating the strike zone, getting lots of ground balls, lots of weak contact. Robert Gasser was another guy who's seeking a third opinion. This is scary, right? We know Gasser is dealing with some UCL stuff. I'm really hoping it's all good. It seems that there might be surgery. Some say rehab may be fine. Gasser's gonna miss time. Is the reality of it. I don't know to what extent though. I think Gasser, it's in the UCL is intact. I think there's some worries that it could lead to UCL damage down the road. That's where I don't know how surgery is going to help with that, but I'm sure there's some procedure there. But he might just need some rest here, and we need him back, right? Gasser we called him the mini Wade Miley here on the show, right? A guy who can go in there. We call it shoving, right? I mean, getting guys out, getting them out quick, mowing down hitters. That kind of performance is what you get out of Gasser. He gets the hitters out fast. First pitch strikes. He works. Him, Brian Hudson, those lefty guys, they learn from Wade Miley, right? Wade Miley's the guy you learn from, who's now unfortunately out for the year, but Miley's a guy who he mastered it, right? He gets through guys. He gets through them fast. He works quick. Those guys are learning from the best. And that's kind of what you like to see. So that's kind of the player news this week, I'd say. Hyped up Perkins, the guy. We talked about the pitchers, the relievers, especially all-star team. Last up, let's talk about this next week. The preview here. I got the schedule preview post. It'll be out right when this episode, if you're watching live here, be out right out after. We have 6 games this week, 3 at home, or all 6 at home. First 3 Monday through Wednesday, a 3-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays, and then a 3-game series against the Cincinnati Reds, Friday through Sunday. Off day on Thursday. I will be at the game on Sunday. Saturday is a Sal Frelick bobblehead, so I recommend you be there. Sunday, I will be at the game. Again, I mentioned for Father's Day. That'll be a fun one to see. A Brewmaster shirt for individuals over 21. Get that. That'll be a nice giveaway there. So Brewers run into the Blue Jays' top 3 pitchers Monday through Wednesday. They get the Reds' top 3 pitchers Friday through Sunday after getting the Phillies. They've gotten all the aces the last 3 or 4 series. They've actually ran into every single team's number 1, which unfortunately just is how it adds up sometime. But the Brewers did get lucky earlier in some series, just navigating, not having to see some guys like trying to think earlier in the year with the Astros and Pirates. They missed Skeens early, like things like that. They got away from some of those guys, but that's what we're looking at here. 6 home games. I'm looking at 4-2. That's the goal. I predicted every outcome of this Tigers series correctly, which I thought wasn't too bad. Win-win loss, just with Scooble facing him and how the Brewers had it lined up. We're looking at 2 out of 3 for both at home. I know it's kind of a cop out. I know people don't like that, but that's seriously what we're looking at. Brewers have struggled historically against Andrew Abbott. He's a guy they're going to face against Cincy, and that's a loss I was scared of. And then also, I was looking actually at tomorrow's game with against Jose Barrios. That could be tough. We'll see how they manage. But 4-2 is what we're looking at for the Brewers this week. That's the goal. That'll keep them on a good pace here to keep navigating to that postseason berth and that NL Central division title. So that's what I got here for the episode, or right around the 20-minute mark. That's all I got. I'm going to see you all Wednesday for some Journey to Millions on football, some other games there. But otherwise, have a great rest of your weekend and have a great week. That'll wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.